Thank you for being here, and thanks for, it's so nice to be in a familiar environment and with a lot of familiar faces, and it's also always exciting to be able to launch a new product, particularly when I get to front run my colleagues as our official launch in the next few hours. So I get to talk about something for the very, very first time. What if I told you the time for building general purpose end-to-end chains is over? What if I told you you can launch your own chain in 5 minutes with maybe 4 or 5 lines of command? What if I told you you only need 1 engineer on staff to be able to maintain a fully fledged blockchain? And what if I told you this blockchain can sustain almost infinite level of TPS, so efficiency is going to be running towards a process of, according to Moore's law, scaling at a speed of exponential potential. And finally, the time for liquidity fragmentation and also user experience fragmentation within the Ethereum phase is going to be over. What does that mean? Stay till the end of the presentation, where I will provide you a lot more evidence and why I make these bold statements. And the end of the conclusion is at the time when people need to think about different chains and different trade-off spaces is over. So there is a perfect trade-off combination between the impossible scaling trilemmas of decentralization, scalability, and also security. Let's get into it. So I want to talk about chain solutions for enterprise adoption. But like I said, the 5-minute deployment rule means literally everybody can do this. The bar for owning and launching your own chain has become almost negligible, particularly for enterprises. Would be so bold to say, as anyone or any organization that has a brand and has a user base should and will own its own chain. That chain, obviously, should be Scroll. But why Scroll? Let's go through it super quickly. So we've spent about 2 or 3, almost 3 years building the most compatible and the fastest finality ZK EVM solution. So we've secured, I think, 1.5 billion at our peak, but we dropped a little because we just did an airdrop. And so basically, it's battle-tested with capital and with transactions and users, and we've been running our main chain for about a year now with 250 plus partners, including some of the more well-known DeFi brands in the space, some of the largest stablecoins in the space, as well as a lot of novel and net new projects that are emerging. Why ZK rollups as opposed to any other type of rollups? Like a year ago, if I were giving a presentation, I would have to be very factually honest and intellectually honest and admit that there are pros and cons to each. The pro for a ZK rollup is that it is very future-proof. It is nascent technology, but if you're building here, you're essentially building for a future, and you can stay within this community and network for a very, very long time. The pro for an optimistic rollup a year ago was also very clear. It had a very mature stack, mature documentation, and also very efficient and also very high TPS. But when you ask me this question today, the cons of ZK rollups is close to the end. And going forward, it's going to be all pros going forward. Why do I say that? Because the TPS for Scroll has reached about 100 at its peak recently, and it will only, a theoretical limit by the end of the year is going to be 1,000 TPS. And the ultimate scaling limit by mid-next year, or towards the end of next year, is 10,000 TPS, which is more than any on-chain transactions we've seen so far. And just like with the internet, with every order of magnitude of scaling or broadband extension, that's going to unlock a whole new category of builders and a whole new type of on-chain interactions. So we have our eyes peeled, and we're super excited to kind of find and discover and support these kind of new applications, the new TikToks and the new WeChats, as well as the new, whatever on-chain interaction for the value of internet. That is coming. And with that, so fundamentally, like, what is Scroll? Scroll emerged from the Ethereum community in a very grassroots and very decentralized manner. And our mission is a very simple one. We want to provide a easy-to-use, developer-centric, and a future-proof way of scaling Ethereum in a way that is also very principled and very security and also reliability first. So there is a way of reaching mass adoption through community building, through brand building, and we also are recently trying to think of a way to accelerate this expansion through parallelizable and multiple L2 support by kind of making sure that more people can leverage and be the evangelists of this incoming global ecosystem. Why every company will own its own L2? First of all, the tech stack is already incredibly mature for all the reasons we went through before. And two, why do we want it? It's the same reason why every organization ran their own servers back in the 90s, and now everyone uses cloud providers. L2 is in a similar state, except the number of people who can run their own cloud provider is going to be decentralized again, because the barrier to entry and the economy of scale and the compound interest of joining each of these emerging L2 networks, as long as they're part of the ZK or Scroll stack, is going to be super powerful. And the incentives are aligned for everyone to do so. Is Ethereum for enterprise? There is obviously a very strong grassroots nature, similar to Scroll, but enterprise adoption and, with Hyperledger, which is a kind of a privatized version of Ethereum, that we've seen so many different experimentations of the EVM or the Ethereum virtual machine in different formats and different implementations, with enterprises deciding their level of transparency, their level of security, and their level of kind of public consensus that they want to engage in. Historically, the more transparent or the more public engagement there is, the more the tech stack kind of accelerates. But any kind of step or any first step towards this learning to build in the open and learning to connect with the OpenStack is huge. And the Scroll SDK fully supports any different levels of privacy engagements and enterprise adoption, KYC requirements, and that's why the stack is super customizable. So I will go through some of the more popular gadgets as a part of the Scroll stack for enterprise, and this is due to a lot of conversations we've been having with crypto-savvy and also crypto-curious enterprises that wants to own its own L2. So permissioned on-chain KYC. This is something we can do in a user proactive and incentivized way. We've already tested some of this through our Canvas program on our main Scroll net, and that has had almost 5 million participants, and almost 1 million of which are KYC'd. And there are other implementations, such as some financial institutions don't want their trades to be transparent. So if a hedge fund wanted to place, say, 10 million trade on Uniswap, they would very much not like to have their strategy completely transparent and followed by other competitors. How do we do that? We're working on this ZK dark pool design, where it enables certain trades to take place within a private pool that is both on-chain but also privately insured for special kind of enterprise KYC'd customers. So all of these speaks to the flexibility and the Lego pieces that might fit into a future where enterprise, individuals, as well as consumer-facing companies can all leverage this incredible technology going forward. When we think about a future where multiple Scroll stack SDKs connected together, we see it as multiple cities with their highways. Scroll mainnet is a first attempt at trying to build a modern city on these high-speed rails, where the the true power of ZK comes in when it comes to the city-to-city connectivity. So amongst the city and chain analogy, we think of each chain as its own city. Some are more entertainment-oriented, some are more finance-oriented, some are more kind of general-purpose, livable-oriented. Everyone can design their own city, just like the Sims game that we used to play when we were kids. And what makes Scroll Stack special is the fact that each city that joins into the core city can leverage and compound what already has been. So that means liquidity can be shared, and net new users entering the space can have an experience where through one account abstraction wallet, you can access meme coins on city A, and you can also tap into the Aave liquidity pool on city B. This is something that has never been experienced or never shown before, and we're only a few months away. We are so enterprise adoption of ZK technology as a cryptographic primitive is absolutely inevitable, and one would argue that it has existed in the insurance sector and in the payment sector, in the international kind of trade settlement sector, independent of all of these recent kind of blockchain cryptocurrency-related applications for a very long time in various implementations. So enterprise as a whole is not new to ZK technology, but the ability and way to engage with it without an in-house fully-fledged research team and be able to pick bits and pieces from the latest technical research is completely net new and really exciting. So what we're offering is the introduction of Scroll gadgets in SDK Stack, so you can build your own ZK chain based on your business model, based on your target audience, and really make this chain for everyone and everywhere. How is the Scroll SDK different? Take it back, taking a step back, right? So Scroll wasn't the first L2 to launch. We're not the first to market, but we want to be the best and the last to market. And leveraging that means we need to bring something new to the entire space in order to become a challenger. And how does the Scroll SDK compete in a seemingly very busy space? First of all, we have production-ready infrastructure for deploy customizable blockchain network with Scroll secure ZK EVM technology. And that means there is no vendor lock-in, there's no governance lock-in, and you can pick and mix and design any part of the stack. If security is not a core feature of your use case, say you're an NFT-related chain, you can take out the prover network. Say you are a hyper secure and institution-facing finance chain for RWAs, then you should absolutely have a prover network and should probably think about a decentralized prover network or engaging well-known entities such as different banks and different government institutions to participate in your prover network for better supervision and a clearer sense of trust and legitimacy building. And you should absolutely have privacy-enabled ZK-TLS for on-chain identity attestation, and you should absolutely have asset-based kind of private, professional investor attestation in order to protect your institutional financial brand. All of these things are fully modular, fully permissionless, fully open source, and this allows the seamless use of shared infrastructure, and this also allows any future gadgets that the Scroll team built, including, something that I'm really excited about, it's called the Gas Zero Chain. It's about an economic mechanism model where if the bridge secures enough assets in Ethereum, we can give specific users a use the chain for free badge and deliver a completely free on-chain onboarding experience for targeted users, and in a way that you can really build a business around a fully kind of customizable chain stack. And talked about this already, and if a chain wanted to focus on institutional investors or have a lot of capital access, then the native yield chain is another really interesting design and gadget as a part of the SDK you could implement. And I think the main kind of point, the main differentiator of the Scroll stack is that it's open source, it's fully self-sovereign, future-proof, and you can design your own governance upgrades. Won't go into the, oh, here we go. Next slide. Okay, great. Why is Scroll the most battle-tested and EVM-compatible ZK rollup? These are the reasons. The top ones are related to security, and having fully vetted security features is our core principle and our core goal, but a lot of these can be taken out if it's not something that's important to our stack partners. And two is stability and ease of operation. So we've been consistently top of the range when it comes to stability, reliability, and we think of the chain solution provider similar to a cloud provider. You want your cloud and also mobile network provider to be reliable, to be accessible, to be as cheap and commercially competitive as possible, but the most important thing is that it needs to be secure and making sure your information is well stored. The same goes for the value layer of the internet. And so reliability and security are our main selling point, and sovereignty and permissionlessness is something that we adhere to by principle, and leveraging the latest technology and the best tech. So I think Scroll team has always been known for building end-to-end and cutting-edge technical solutions. So the ability to own and also know the entire tech stack end-to-end means we are very, very good at providing dev support. We can answer questions on why we built certain things, why we made certain design choices, and it just means we're more responsive as a kind of stack provider. In this period of a plethora of technical designs and different kind of chain implementations, what has Scroll been focusing on? In terms of getting to cost parity when it comes to efficiency, so on and so forth, the one thing that we've been laser focused on is finality. And the world hasn't really come around to how important this particular feature is. So the soft show is that we are the category winner when it comes to finality, and we always will be. And finality really kicks in when it comes to chain-to-chain interoperable experiences. So one chain needs to call the data or asset on another adjacent chain. This is when this finality now matters. So we're around 4 minutes-ish. Our closest competitor is still in the hours category. We'll soon be in the sub-minute and soon be in the sub-seconds category, and that's when the user will cognitively not recognize the cross-chain bridging experience anymore. So if you think about it on a mobile phone, if a certain page loading takes a few seconds, then you're not really going to cognitively register there is a chain change on the back end. And that is the beginning of a chain-to-chain, fully interoperable, and seamless experience. So thank you very much. That was very exciting for me to be able to introduce a new product. And the call to action here is that we will be launching this in a few hours, the actual SDK product. And by then, you can go on our website, run 4 or 5 lines of command, and launch your own L2. So don't wait for this. This is the future. Go try it out in a few hours when we launch. Thank you all.